So, hey Bart, yeah, we worked together in the past month, and yeah, I just wanted to record this short testimonial video with you of your experience of working with me, working with us, and yeah, can you please start with sharing in which state you were when you came in, when you started with us? That would be super nice to hear.
Sure, I can. Um, well, yeah, it feels like ages ago already because so many things have happened the past 3 months.
Yeah, sure.
Um, the it was quite. I was quite in a state where I wasn't aware of the stress I was experiencing at that specific moment, and it was more or less like a crossroads of so many things happening in my life on both personal level as well in business, where I felt that I had completely lost grip, as well, coming from 2 years of the pandemic, of course, which was also for the type of business that I'm running very much effective. So there was a lot of negative atmosphere, there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of uncertainty, but it was also the very edge of um, um, improving things again, but
Yeah,
without any backup, without any guarantee, without any things to rely on. And so it was a moment to make a lot of decisions where everything together was too much, and that's why I more or less reached out to you to get support, to get things back together, to get more grip on things, where I well yeah to become again the person that I've been, like the positive, empowering
yeah.
person that I also think I need to be with the goals that I set myself.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. I really recognize the moment, yeah, when we started, and what I wanted to say is that the funny thing is that I think a couple of weeks already in the program, in the coaching track, you rewatched one of the sessions, and then you didn't really recognize yourself anymore. I think that that's something that you said. You really made some very quick steps in the first weeks. That's what I remember.
Yeah, for sure. I remember this quite well, and it frightened me when I look back at my first session. I think that was after 3 or 4 weeks, because I felt already so much change, and I made one promise to myself, and that promise was, if I start this process with you, then I have to be on top of everything. I have to commit myself completely, 100%. Otherwise, I'm fooling myself and you, and that's a waste of time and money. So the very first weeks gave me so much awareness about so many things, the littlest things in a day, like food, like drinking less coffee, like thoughts, trying to manage them, like writing down things, giving you so much feedback of what you're actually creating in your own mind in a negative way. And that was just, when you get grip of that, and I think, looking over the 3 months that we worked together, I think the first 2 months gave the biggest increase of change in a positive way, because
Yeah,
um, well, the basic thing to me was really become aware of your own thoughts, of your own patterns, of your own habits.
yeah,
And if you learn to get grip of those things, um, that gives you a very powerful feeling. And more or less looking back at a person, not understanding why I felt like that, because I have the tools myself.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it
you first
with a
had to become aware, and that's what you did. And then
exactly.
from there, we started to make changes on several levels. And so overall, after all, we spent 3 months working together on those things, personal and business wise. Yeah, can you share some of your results of change for you first on a personal level?
For sure, I think the biggest impactful thing was that you gave me a lot of tools, like a big toolbox with a lot of tools that I don't see them anymore as a theory, because now I've experienced them, what the impact can be. So I feel so much more comfortable with now owning these tools, because I've experienced them before, that when I feel miserable again in the future, I know what to do, instead of reading a book that, and you see it on what it says on paper, but you don't know how to implement it in your own personal life. And that's, for me, I think, the most that has had the biggest impact. So every tool has its own specific way of working, and it gives me the power of managing my own thought patterns, of managing my own days. Instead of becoming reactive in life, you're becoming proactive in life. And I think that's the that's the greatest advantage that I took from this training. What other things is that, well, there's a lot of things that I never expected that I would do. For instance, like drinking less coffee or meditate in the morning every single day. This is something that I do every day now, and that's something I will miss when I actually miss when I one day forget it. So that's it gives.
How did it change you? How did it all change the current you that you are, in terms of presence, confidence?
Well, it's like what you say. It's being present, and it's being aware of things. Where when you feel lost, you feel like you're unable to manage all these things, and you feel everything is negative. But if you zoom out and look at from a broader perspective, like a helicopter view, you'll be able to point those to point those thoughts that that breaks you up, and learning that a thought is something you create yourself. If it's a negative thought, you create it yourself. So why not create a positive thought? And that gives you more grip on how you feel. And if you start a day with a ritual, like doing some meditation, you already start the day with being aware, instead of looking back at the very end of the day, thinking about what you could have done differently. It's too late.
You got ahead of things, and on a personal level, but also on a business level, I think, because I noticed from the updates that you gave me that things started to move faster in the business as well, especially after summer.
Correct. Yeah. And on different levels, there's been some fundamental projects I was running in private and business life. So everything was happening at the same time. Where before you live your life being reactive, because then a business relationship tells you he or she needs something right now, but it's not in the best timing because you were doing other things. If you start planning in a better way, you also start communicating in a better way. So you're also managing expectations in a better way. So you get grip of the situation, and you don't have to let people down, because you do what you want to do, instead of you're doing what other people think you should do.
So true. And last week I also remember that we went through your zero measurement. So when we started, we did a measurement of all different, a lot of different topics, and then at the end as well. And I think almost every aspect you showed growth, and that was amazing.
For sure. Yeah, and I think, and this is something we discussed in the very beginning a lot. I think everything is connected. So if you take good care of yourself in terms of food and sleep, you also feel better throughout the day, which also gives you better result in business and in private life. You'll be more happy towards your friends and your relationships, and so on and so on. So it wasn't a big surprise that on every single element there was an increase, because if you take good care of yourself, it's like a domino situation towards in the right direction. So that's a great result.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. So are you, yeah, how happy are you that you started this trajectory with us a couple of months ago? Because I know back then you you knew you wanted to change and you wanted help, but you made the decision to fully trust us, trust me, and you went for it. And looking back, how happy are you that you just did this and with us?
Very happy, and the reason why is we live in a world where everything is up to speed, and we're in a rat race altogether, and there's so many expectations, and on all different levels, as well on social media, when you talk to people on the street, when you talk to people in business, in your private life, everybody is giving so much expectations. And on top of that, you're giving yourself even extra pushes to even get more expectations from yourself.
Yeah,
In the end, what I've learned, well, actually, of course, I did already know because it's a cliche, but I experienced that not everything is, you cannot influence everything, but you can influence the way you deal with things. And
yeah,
uh, and that gave me, well, that message is what I took out of the 3 months in general, is that I'm making the decision to start a company. I'm making the decision to do whatever. So I also ask with that decision for feedback. And if I cannot deal with this feedback, that's my own mistake, because
mm,
I started this whole process. So if you understand that the sorrowness that you feel, or the overwhelmingness that you feel, is coming from your own actions, then you're also able to react on that in do once, instead of feeling depressed because another person tells you that you cannot do this or cannot do that. So if you get grip on your own um, thoughts and on your own decisions on how you cope with things,
yeah.
it gives you power.
Ah, and that's what you really got and did.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all this and yeah, trusting me throughout this process. And also thank you for playing full out with us and showing up every single day, because that is the recipe for success. If you do the things and apply the tools and that's what you did, then the beautiful things can happen. And you've shown it in 3 months. You can just manage several projects, get a much better grip on yourself and on the business. And I have the feeling that you're really unleashed now and ready for a lot. So yeah, that's it from my side.
One more thing I like to add, because I think it's very important. By, like I said, promising myself that I was gonna commit fully to this process with you, also means that trusting you as a person is relevant as well. And I think if you have like the feeling that there's something going on, or you don't trust another person, then the output of this whole process will be completely different. So for anybody starting this process as well, it can be very scary in the beginning, but that's with everything that is new, right? So if you trust Lennart, if you trust yourself, and if you really think that you're doing this for yourself, and you have that chemistry with Lennart, yeah, it's a big present you can give to yourself.
Thanks. That really means a lot, and that might that might help people that are on the fence. And yeah, thanks again, and let's stay in touch, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah.